Good morning, friends.
Good morning.
We're going to do a floor or modified stretching routine and core work for you today. The first thing we're going to do is a good morning stretch. LaRae is going to show all the on the floor versions. I'm going to show you all the modified and the chair versions. So for a good morning stretch, you reach both arms up overhead and stretch as far as you can. So in the chair, you'll lean back till your shoulders are rested on the chair. Reach as far as you can. Take nice, big, slow, deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth, in through your nose, out through your mouth. Good. Two more. Very good. If you're lying on the floor, you're going to start doing a snow angel with your arms. The legs stay right where they're at. The arms go up and down. If you're in the chair, shimmy your hiney back till you're rested back against the back of the chair, and then reach your arms all the way up and all the way down. Good, all the way up and all the way down. If this bothers your shoulders, you can modify the motion by bringing the hands in and going with your elbows so that you're not putting too much stress on the shoulders. Good. If you can, and you're on the floor, you want to keep your hands flat on the ground. If you're not all the way to the ground yet, that's okay. Just work on stretching those muscles out. Last one. All right, the next stretch we're going to do is a potato bug stretch. If you're on the floor, you're going to hug both knees into your chest. Kind of give them a squeeze. If you're sitting in the chair, we're just going to do one knee at a time. Holding that leg up high. You can grab on the shin side or behind your thigh and pull in towards your trunk, sitting tall. Very good. You can, if you're sitting on the floor, or laying on the floor, you can rock side to side, kind of allowing that gentle stretch to happen. If you're sitting, you can go tall and kind of lean side to side, just stretching that hip. If you're sitting, go ahead and switch legs. Pull up and side to side. We're going to transition into the single knee to chest. So if you're lying on the ground, you hold one knee in close, reaching the other leg out as far as you can. Sitting in the chair, this stretch looks really similar to the one we just did. Now we're just going to sit tall, chest up to the ceiling, pull that knee into your chest. If you're on the floor, you should feel a stretch in the butt of the pulled in leg, but also in the hip of the straight leg, the front of the hip. Good. Set that leg down. Sitting tall, pull the other leg into your chest. If you're seated, you're sitting tall. If you're lying down, you're reaching that straight leg out as far as you can. And set that leg down. That's all I know for now. Give me a second. All right, our next one, we're going to sit tall. You're going to do a crossover. This is the Glutie Pie stretch. If you're lying on the ground, you cross the leg over. If you're seated, you can pull and put your ankle on the opposite knee. You can stay here if this feels like a stretch in the back of that right hip or up leg, or you can grab behind and pull towards your chest. So if you're seated and you need more stretch, you sit up tall and you lean forward. If this hurts or pinches in the hip, interlock your fingers and pull that knee up a little to take off some pressure and lean back. The goal is to stretch your glute, hence the name Glutie Pie. Excellent. Go ahead and set that leg down. Switch sides. Finding that stretch first. If you need additional stretch, either lean forward or pull that thigh in towards your chest. We want to avoid any discomfort, so if you have any pinch or anything in the front of the hip, make sure to lift that knee up, sit up tall. Good. Go ahead and set that leg on the ground. We're now going to do a twisting S stretch. So LaRae is going to sit with her feet on the ground and rock her knees side to side, just gently. If you're seated, we're not going to have as much motion. We're going to move and hold, and then switch to the other side. Good. So from the floor, now LaRae can rock her legs all the way to one side and leave them resting down towards the ground. We'll both hold. If you're lying on the ground, you can turn your head away from your knees to increase the stretch, really making that spine an S shape. And switch, go the other way. Excellent. Come back to center. And our next exercise is a bridge. So LaRae's legs are going to stay in place, and she's going to lift her hips up off the ground and then lower them back down. Nice and slow, control through the middle, squeezing the glutes and lifting the hips. From the chair, plant your feet down on the ground, hands on the chair, and then you're going to lift your hips up and lower and back down. Lift the hips up, lower and back down. Got to be careful to keep all four legs of the chair on the floor. If your hands are not on the chair, you can tip the chair backwards and that would be dangerous. So keep your hands on the chair, pressing down to keep weight into all four legs of the chair. Two more. Good. All right, we're now going to go to our bellies if we're on the floor. We're going to do a Superman stretch. So from the floor position, the arms are up overhead, and LaRae is going to try to lift the fingertips up off the ground and toes up off the ground, and then relax back down to the ground. We're going to hold just about 3 seconds. If you're in the chair, we're going to try to still get that same thoracic extension by reaching our arms up behind the chair and then relaxing back down. Good. Reaching the arms up and then relaxing back down. We can straighten out the legs from here to increase the amount of extension we're getting in our body. Good. Reaching the arms up and bringing them back in. 2 more. Arms up and back in. Very good. Last one. Arms up and back in. Good. Now we're going to do a Cobra or a low Cobra. So LaRae's going to put her hands right under her shoulders and gently push her palms into the floor to arch her back. If you're sitting in the chair, you're going to do the same thing using your knees. Sitting on the front of your chair, looking up, arching your back, and then relaxing. Bring yourself back to neutral. Good. You really want to have those hands, if you're on the floor, right under those shoulders, so when you press, you're pushing straight up. And relax back down. This should feel good. You're the boss of how far you go. Just push gently until you feel a stretch, and make this work with your breath. Two more. Inhale, push up. Exhale, come back down. Last one. Inhale, push up. Exhale, down. Good. All right, our next exercises are going to be from a tabletop position. So LaRae's going to go hands and knees and do a cat-cow. And so she's going to tuck her chin in, hollow out her back, reach the middle of her spine up towards the ceiling, and then bring her tailbone up and the back of her head up, allowing the back to sag down. All of this is done with control. In the chair, you'll do the same thing. Look down at your belly button, hollow out your back, arch your back, look up at the ceiling. Tuck your chin into your chest, look down at your belly button. Look up towards the ceiling. Relax your shoulders away from your ears. Chin to your chest, look down. Eyeballs up towards the ceiling, arch your back. One more, chin to chest. Eyeballs up. And then back to neutral. Very good. LaRae's going to put her hands out in front and sink back into a child's pose. So hips come back to her heels. To do a child's pose from the chair, you can lean forward, kind of a forward fold position, and bring your head down towards your knees. To get a little side stretch here, LaRae can take both hands and reach them to the right. I can reach towards my right foot with both hands. And then we can travel over the other way. Excellent work. Our next one is a butterfly stretch. So LaRae's going to sit on her rear. Put her feet together and her knees out to the side. From a chair position, we're going to sit, let the knees fold out nice and tall through your chest. We're just letting the knees hang out, stretching those hips nice and tall through our chest. We're working on soles of our feet together. If you'd like to increase stretch, keep your spine tall and bring your chest forward. So we're not collapsing through our trunk. We're staying tall, reaching, giving ourselves more stretch. If that's too intense, you can put a blanket or a yoga block underneath your knees if you're on the floor to help support you. Very good. Excellent. All right, our next stretches are sort of standing. We're going to stand and use the chair. LaRae's going to stand and use her mat. We're going to do a lunge stretch. So we're going to have, we'll have our right leg forward, and we're going to turn our toe out, our back toe out a little bit, leaning forward, chest up, nice and tall. If you need the chair, have it next to you for balance. Very good. Now let's rotate so our left heel is up towards the ceiling and we're on our toe, and bend that knee and bring ourselves down towards the ground. Very good. So stay there, LaRae. If you need to utilize the chair to do this action, you just bend a little bit and don't go all the way down. Okay. Very good. Let's switch sides. We'll come back to standing. Big stretch, and we'll have our toe pointing out in the back, chest up nice and tall, nice big deep stretch, bringing that right hip forward. And now turn that back heel up towards the ceiling, keeping the chest up, and we're going to bend that knee, head down towards the ground. Very good. Very good. Let's see. All right, maintaining that position, LaRae. You're going to have one foot out in front. You're going to put your hand down on the ground. And then rotate towards that front leg. I'm gonna move my chair here, so you put your hand on the chair and rotate towards that front leg. Good. Bring the hand back down. You're gonna switch your legs, so you can step in if you're standing. Good. Leave one hand on the ground, rotate towards that front leg, bringing the fingertips up towards the ceiling. Look up at that hand. And come back down. Good. All right. Nice work. Thanks for joining us.
Bye. See you next time.